Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, and in this video, what I want to do is talk briefly about what can only be described really as the Amazon Associates Armageddon of 2020. So, if you're just catching up on the news, today Amazon has sent out an email to members of its Amazon Associates program, so Amazon's affiliate program. Basically, one of those ominous emails they periodically send out saying, hey, we've got some updates to our terms and conditions, that the function of our program, and sometimes it can be just simple changes to what you're allowed to promote or how you're allowed to promote things. But this was a big bombshell. It really has sort of come out of nowhere in some respects and knocked a lot of people in a bad way. Now, what Amazon has done has basically come along and massively slashed the commission rates you get on a whole lot of products. So what I've done here is I've opened up the email and you can actually see on the screen. I'm just going to do a screen capture video for this particular video. It's just a screen capture you're seeing of that associates operating agreement, what's changed in terms of some of the percentages of commissions, how much you're losing. Unfortunately, and not unexpectedly, none of them are going up. All of them are going down. It's the extent to which things are going down that I think has shocked people quite a lot. So, for example, if we think about, say, the furniture, home improvement, those kinds of things, that was sitting at, I think, 8%, if I recall correctly off the top of my head. That has now dropped to 3%. So, where you would have been getting, say, just in simple maths, $8 on a $100 product, you're now getting $3. Some of the categories have dropped even more aggressively. Grocery, for example, off the top of my head, I think that was 5%. And I will confirm those figures in the video description. But yeah, from 5% or thereabouts down to 1%. So literally a 1% commission. Basically, all of the commission structures across the board have just been slashed and burned by Amazon overnight. And the double kicker, the sort of 1-2 combination punch, is that this kicks in on the 21st of April. So basically 7 days notice. It's not like they're saying, hey, here's 6 months notice. We're going to go and, give you plenty of prior warning so you can look for alternatives and plan out exit strategies if you want to get out of the game, any of those kinds of things. Literally 7 days notice. And of course, it has to be 7 days notice for a massive cut to commissions right in the middle of basically an unprecedented financial crisis, that's sweeping the globe. I think I saw maybe on the Daily Mail or one of those websites in the UK, they're talking about the worst financial crisis in 300 years. People laying odds on the next Great Depression, all those kinds of things. It's a pretty tough time out there for a lot of people, and many Amazon associates or Amazon affiliates, depend on the money that comes through their referral links, to pay themselves, to pay staff if they're running a bigger operation. And depending on what category you're in, you could be seeing your income cut basically more than in half overnight, 60, 70% reduction in income, all other factors remaining equal. If you were, say, doing, $1,000 a month just as a side hustle on, one of those furniture, pet products, any of those kind of categories, now you might be seeing that really decrease by hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I'm not going to go through the exact maths off the top of my head because I'm not very good at maths, but basically huge reductions in what you would have been earning. It's pretty worrying stuff, really. So what is the point of this video other than to cover the news that's already been discussed and already been released? Well, there's a couple of things I want to talk about here. The first is this change going to be permanent? The truth is that this change is almost certainly going to be permanent. I've seen a few people suggest in different forums, different places, Facebook groups, for example, or maybe this is just a temporary change in light of, what's going on out there with COVID-19 at the moment. But a few people have spoken to their Amazon associates reps or support, and they've been told, no, this is a permanent change. And certainly I can't see them ever rolling it back. I mean, just like that overnight, they've probably managed to, free up tens, possibly hundreds of millions of dollars a year in additional profits, basically, because people are still going to be shopping with Amazon. And I'll come to that point in a minute. The next point people have made is really around just how unfair that short notice is. And I can't say I disagree there. The only, I guess, saving grace is it wasn't 24 hours or 48 hours notice. At least you've got 7 days to work out what you're going to do. But really, what this does is puts a lot of affiliates who are dependent on Amazon's associate program in a very tricky position. Because really Amazon is just such a all-encompassing, leviathan now of e-commerce and of the way the internet works and the way we buy things. Um, you know, and really what's happening here is Amazon is just leveraging that extraordinary power they've got to cut out the middleman, to cut out the little guy. I've seen people say, "Oh, we're going to write petitions or write letters." It's just pointless. None of that's going to do anything, because Amazon simply has the power to do this. They don't care about your threats of saying, "I'm not going to buy from Amazon anymore," because a small community of affiliates is vastly outweighed by, or relatively small community of affiliates, I should say, is vastly outweighed by an enormous number of people who will simply continue to shop with Amazon because it's convenient and fast and affordable. I mean, I live over here in New Zealand. We don't even really have a particularly good Amazon presence, and I can still buy 90% of the things I'd want to buy in terms of, electronics or clothes or anything like that from Amazon in the United States, pay for shipping, pay for tax, get it shipped over to me. Sometimes it gets to my house faster than if I order from a local supplier here. So it's not like Amazon is all bad. I mean, what they've done here is obviously terrible for affiliates or associates. But there's a reason they've got into the position to be able to do that in the first place, because what they've done is given people what they want, which is access to a huge range of products at very reasonable prices, by and large, with good customer service, very rapid distribution, all those kinds of things. So they've got to where they are by following a successful formula. And unfortunately, we're sort of taken along for the ride as Amazon affiliates, and really. In some respects, it almost potentially marks the beginning of the end of the journey for Amazon affiliates. Now, that doesn't mean to say that you can't make money from the program. I mean, they're still offering commission. It's just with this massively reduced rate of commission, it becomes so much harder to actually make any decent kind of profit. It's going to have all sorts of flow-on effects. Things like potentially reducing the valuations of niche affiliate websites. So, if your website was, doing, say, $5,000 profit a month, and without any change to traffic, suddenly it's reduced to $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. Well, that has a huge impact on sort of forward earnings and then the valuation of that site. It's going to affect people's ability to reinvest profits that they're making from their sites as well. So the flow-on effects in the whole wider affiliate marketing space are going to be large. But I think what people are mistaken about is thinking that this is going to lead to a whole load of people protesting and complaining and giving up on buying from Amazon, and suddenly they're going to realize the error of their ways and decide, actually, no, we're going to give the commission amounts back. It's just not going to happen, because the end user, the customer, the person who pays the money, which is what Jeff Bezos and Amazon care about ultimately, they're going to keep shopping there. So many people just go directly to Amazon.com these days, rather than even bothering to search or Google for anything. And I suspect that's part of it as well. It's just this whole COVID crisis has kind of provided the perfect cover and the perfect opportunity to revisit how their program works. I suspect Amazon knows well enough that what's going to happen, increasingly people will just go directly to Amazon. If you want to research a product, you don't need to Google best dog collars. You can just go on Amazon and type in dog collar in the search and see what comes up, and then pick your products from there. And so potentially there's an element of this update as well, just reflecting changes in the way people buy and research. Now, of course, that's not the only side to the story, because there are so many websites, millions, potentially, tens of millions out there. I don't know the exact numbers that get people searching, that get people, seeing their rankings in Google, get people clicking through to Amazon links, that get people buying. That still exists, but it wouldn't be surprised if we see more and more this trend towards people just going directly to the source. Amazon can be trusted. They've got everything you want. You just go there, and this is just a reflection of that as well, as a reflection of probably Amazon's desire to free up some extra cash at the moment. Knowing that the benefit they get from making this change is vastly going to outweigh any decrease And I suspect they know that any threats from that relatively small affiliate community of, oh, we're not going to buy from you anymore, well, that's massively outweighed by the savings they're going to make by not paying out so much money. And possibly even being able to facilitate lower prices for customers to drive up sales volumes. So really, yeah, as I said, this is not going to be a temporary thing. This is permanent. The writing is on the wall, I think, to some extent with Amazon Associates. It's going to continue for the foreseeable future, but I think over time they will move more and more to just to cut additional commission rates. I mean, you think of grocery, for example, just looking here is sitting at 1%, health and personal care sitting at 1%. I wouldn't be surprised to see, furniture and home improvement and such like get cut to 1%. Same with your musical instruments, same with your outdoors and tools. You get a flat 1% across the board, and then potentially you might find that it gets cut to 0.5%, and only premium partner affiliates, sort of super affiliates, big organizations like the Wirecutter, those kinds of things, they get to enjoy the big 1% commissions. And so it's sort of going to continue down that path. I really can't see Amazon at any stage now rolling it back and saying, oh, actually, we need you guys back. Their brand is now so dominant, their position is so dominant that really, the sort of little limpets that cling, onto the side of the boat, that's just driving through the water at such a pace. We're kind of collateral damage in the whole process. So what does this mean for you as an Amazon associate, as an affiliate? Well, it means a few different things. The immediate impact is it could mean a massive reduction in your revenue and your income. So you're going to have to deal with the consequences of that. I think what it's going to do is lead to people looking for alternative affiliate options. Now, that's not necessarily as easily said as done. There are loads of different networks and platforms out there. I mean, you've got things like ClickBank, for example. If you can suddenly pivot your site to focus maybe more on info products and guides, because if you're earning now only $1 or $2 per item you refer on Amazon, but you could earn $50 for selling a video course, in the same niche, say dogs, for example. Instead of selling dog collars, you start selling dog training videos. It may be that that's a good option, but for other industries, other niches, it's going to be harder. If you built your business, say, on reviewing digital piano, so you're in the musical instrument space and you were making 8% or whatever it is, and now you're making 3%, it might be harder to pivot so easily, especially so in things like home appliances and stuff. No one's going to buy an ebook about how to use a waffle maker. I mean, I suppose they might, but they're probably just going to look up recipes for free online or go on Pinterest, those kinds of sites. And so there's going to be a big change in how people monetize. I think people will start looking for alternative affiliate programs. You might see people looking for in-house affiliate opportunities as well. So, if you were doing really well with a particular product, maybe look up the manufacturer or the supplier. Can you go to them and negotiate an in-house affiliate arrangement if you refer people directly to their website? I know a business here in New Zealand, for example, that has a presence, on Amazon. They make affiliate commissions, they have affiliates making commissions on their product, but they actually have a much more generous in-house affiliate offer that I think offers about 10% versus, what are they going to be doing now? 3% on Amazon. So basically just by changing out from the Amazon link to this in-house link, you can suddenly earn a whole load more money for the same sales. Now, there's a flip side to that, which is that Amazon tends to convert really well because people trust it. And it may be that, if the whole supplier's business is not particularly well based around selling directly to the consumer, they might not have a particularly good e-commerce presence. They might not be willing to do a in-house affiliate program. So that may not be an option. And it's also a lot harder to manage. Part of the beauty of Amazon Associates is you have one account, so many products, you get that nice cookie benefit as well. So it just makes monetization easier. So this is a fundamental shakeup, a big, big change in how people are going to operate. So there'll be shifts in how people monetize. I think there'll be shifts in the kind of niches people go after, possibly towards ones that have more opportunities around selling info products or non-physical products, SaaS, subscription services, all those kinds of things. As opposed to having to sell a physical item that is the kind of thing that people just go to Amazon to buy. If it's a waffle iron or something like that, you just go on Amazon and you buy it. I suppose you could look at Walmart, for example. They've got an affiliate program, but also don't be surprised if some of these other affiliate programs start to tighten up a little bit as well. They might not tighten up so much, but they're probably going to take the lead from Amazon, and start to wind back those commissions as things get tight for businesses all across the world. So another thing to also bear in mind as well, I think, is that people are going to look more and more at opportunities to monetize, not in a product sense, but more in an advertising sense. So that's something to consider as well, is can you look at shifting maybe to monetizing? If you've got a big traffic base, could you make any money out of AdSense or Mediavine or Ezoic or any of those kinds of platforms? Where you don't actually have to sell a product, you just have to get enough traffic, hopefully niche traffic, which is often more valuable, and maybe you can monetize that way. Maybe you can even go one step further and sort of go to that old school style of selling ad placements for a higher rate if you've got a really good quality traffic base. So it's not the end of the world for building websites and making money off them, but it is the beginning of the end, I think, for the Amazon Associates program, for the average affiliate. I really think that the effect of this cannot be underestimated. It's going to weed out, I think, a lot of people who weren't really building businesses. They were just building sites that were really middlemen, that didn't really add any value. It's just because you happen to target the right keyword and you happen to do a bit of SEO that you just happen to show up number one for, best cheap waffle irons under $50, or best hair straighteners for dogs or something crazy like that. And you just clip the ticket. Someone would read your, regurgitated review that you've, sort of purchased off iWriter or one of those, hiring a writer websites, and you've pasted it in and you've grabbed a few images and you've just really acted as a portal between Google and Amazon. I think those websites are going to struggle a lot more. High quality ones that have got big traffic bases or very niche targeted traffic bases will still have a lot of opportunities, but the game is going to get harder and the short-term impacts are going to be pretty brutal as well. Flip side of the coin is you may see people liquidating their distressed assets, as it were, their websites that are suddenly worth a whole lot less or suddenly a whole lot less profitable. You may be able to pick up these sites, for a much more reasonable price because the earnings multiple is much lower, and people may just give up on the whole affiliate marketing space. And it may be that you can incorporate those into your own network, or you can take the content, or you can redirect the domains if there's good link profile. So it's not the end of opportunity. It's not the end of making money online as an affiliate. It's just another transition, another change in the journey, and you can't stop that from happening. It is a big change. It's going to hurt a lot of people. It hurts me to some extent, although affiliate marketing on Amazon is only a small portion of what I do, but it's still decent money I'm losing every week from April 21st. But what it has done in my mind has really, clarified the fact that I think you've got to think beyond Amazon Associates. Don't think that in 5 years' time, probably even shorter time frame, you're going to necessarily be able to just rank a site and go to a one-stop shop where you're going to be able to make good commissions referring product sales. You're going to have to get a bit more creative with what sort of programs you join, possibly your own products. Can you do drop shipping instead? Where you can control the pricing? Can you find in-house affiliate programs? Can you pivot to info products? Can you pivot to ad placements instead, where it's a little bit less product dependent? Although that is not immune either. At the moment, I think a lot of ad networks are seeing declining revenues as well as businesses advertise less. So yeah, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. I mean, as I said, this is just a bit of a random waffle on my take on what's happening. It's not the end, but it's the beginning of the end for one aspect, in my opinion. But I welcome any other differing opinions. How are you going to deal with this? What does it mean for your business? Are you looking to get out of the affiliate marketing game now? Are you looking to scale up? What are you looking to do? Hopefully you found this video helpful. As I said, it's just a very simple one I've done on the fly with a bit of screen capture. But I think the impact of this cannot be underestimated. But don't give up on what you're doing. Think about how you can work around it instead. I think that's the key. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time.